Hey everybody, my name's Cannon. I bought a DRX2 dozer. I bought it used off a fella. Always wanted one, really, just super cool. It's the same one you see everywhere, the made by JD Models or JD something. RC four-wheel drive sells them, and they're super cool, just super cool. But this one needed some TLC. Everything was loose. Everything was just no grease on things. So it was time to give it some attention, and I figured why not just blow it apart. And while I was doing that, I decided to do a Desert Storm sort of paint scheme and do it all desert tan or whatever you want to call it, military style. Do some bulletproof windows on the cab, and then maybe do some fake bullet impacts, maybe an RPG or two. Should be pretty cool, but I'll keep you posted on that. So this is blown apart. This is 100%. So everything that was small and yellow goes in bags. Everything that's all the hardware for everything is individually bagged. There's got to be 100 bags there. And I number my bags with corresponding parts they came from. Easy money. So, anyway, I figured I'd document this and try to learn from what I've watched. And most of what I hate is when people just ramble on and talk. So I'm going to shut up and get going here. So, I blew a drive motor, Clio B. I'm sure you guys have heard that name. Sent me a new one quickly, and a shout out to him. I can't say enough about Clio. He's quick, he's efficient, he's helpful, he's everything you want as far as customer service goes. So I blew one out, and I figured, you know what? I wish I knew more about these before I bought it. So we'll do a little show some people that don't know how the planetary works, how it goes together, and that this isn't nearly as intimidating as some people might think it is. But also to show you how things come brand new. I've already touched a couple of these screws and it's pretty loose. So this is right from the factory. You can see that O-ring where my thumb is there. It's kind of squashed out. So this rotates on that O-ring. So that's not going to work. So we'll take this one apart. I've got to take it apart to get all these yellow pieces out for the Cerakote. So we'll do that. And I'm not a film editor or a filmer. All I know how to do is push pause. So maybe we'll just do that. Be right back. So a quick little breakdown here. So this is the hub that was on it. I've already taken it apart, cleaned it. When I took it apart, I found that the holes holding the retainer, 3 of the 4 were already stripped out and wobbled out and couldn't be used. They weren't going to hold anything. So rather than wait for the new piece to come, I took it to a machinist that I have next door and had him drill and tap new holes, new threads, so I could reuse that hub. But you need a machine to do that. Don't try to do it by hand. It's probably not going to work. Things are just too delicate and what have you. Okay, so quick explanation here. So that's laid out how it's going to drive. All this stuff here goes in the middle. Starts with a motor. You got a motor right here. Boom. Motor. And there's the pinion to the motor. That drives these gears, which spins this. That drives these gears, which spins this. That drives these gears, which spins this. Which drives these gears, which you'll notice have a different tooth pattern. So that's what makes it easy, actually, is that besides the pinion and besides the drive teeth, so the drive teeth go on here. This is your outer hub and drives the whole sprocket, drives the sprocket. So a planetary gear takes a little power and turns it into a ton of torque. They're really pretty cool. But these aren't complicated. So starting right off, just so you don't worry, when you take this apart, just Just put it on a plate. Don't lose any pieces, but don't worry about what gear it came off of where. It's really easy to identify because all 9 of these gears are exactly the same. These 4 are different. And this is different. You see that? Okay, so we'll put it together real quick. I'm going to use my little makeshift camera stand here and see what happens. Okay, watch how easy this is. Take your first one. I've already put grease on these. Put your gears on the shafts. Boom. Set that down. Do the next one. Doesn't matter which side they go on. Doesn't matter, you know, as long as it's the same. Oh, as the other ones, you'll be fine. And the last one. So the last one with these more aggressive teeth, that's always going to be the furthest one out. That's always going to be facing the hub. Okay. Now we got that. Set that right in there. Hope you can see. Put a mesh in there. That'll mesh in there. There you go. Super cool. Make sure it works good, works smooth, lightly greased. Set that aside. So now you've got this. This is keyed. It fits in here only one way. And those teeth make it slip right in there. Easy, right? Take your planetary assembly. Get the tooth started. And this is kind of a finesse. You're gonna have to wiggle it, rotate it, but it'll go in pretty easy. And don't tip it out. Don't tip to either side because that'll all fall out and you're gonna start over. So keep your finger on it. What I like to do is take the big washer, put that on the back side because that's where that goes. Then you can hold it there, flip it over, take your bottom, hold it with your thumb, just slip that in there, and now you can just kind of let it go, and that's going to stay in there. Hope that made sense. Now you've got your, I don't call it the upper ring gear. You've got these little notches on each side. You've got those same notches on your inner hub. So line those up. And we got our 2 little pins. And you might have to rotate that, but it's got to be perfectly aligned. Which I don't have. You can see it's off a little bit. There we go. That'll slide in there. The other one on the other side. There you go. Voila. So those should recess below the lip here. If they're sticking up above, it means this gear isn't seated far enough. Okay. All right. So then we've got, oh, see, we got lucky. Got our main bearing. O-ring. Slip the bearing over. Slide the O-ring so it's down flush. Oh, gee, sorry. So it's flush. You get your hub, your drive hub. It's all clean. I'll grease the needle bearing lightly here. Probably get away with just a little oil, but I don't know, I like grease. Alright, so you've got a conical side, and you've got your flange side. Conical side goes against the O-ring. And I like to put a little grease on that O-ring because that has to slide. That's like a friction surface or whatever you want, like a sealing surface really. That's nice and smooth. We got our retaining ring. Let's see which holes are the good ones. Alright. And I'll pause it to put those in. Okay. Got our retaining ring. I'm not going to put all the screws in it because I need to send this off to get painted, but I just want to do a quick assembly. So your 4 retaining screws go in there. Make sure you Loctite them with blue Loctite and don't over tighten. Okay. And then you get the outer drive hub with your 4 aggressively toothed gears. Notice there's 4 over here instead of 3 like on the planetary itself. Get those on there. And this is a little bit tricky. Not tricky, but just be patient. So, we're going to get that started in there. And you're going to have to just find the spot. There we go. Oh, got super lucky. There you go. Slips right in. Get your outer holes lined up. Blue Loctite. Tighten all those down. Bada boom. You're done. Now, back here, this is where the motor mounts. So we've got 2 screws, and the motor would be here. This is normally still on. If you don't take the motor out, which you don't have to do this, this will stay on, bolted in. I think I get that right. I could be lying. Okay, so planetaries. They're not as scary as you think they are. Oh, last but not least, if you've got your drive pinion gear, that comes right on your motor. But behind that, I mean against the motor. So it'll go pinion. You know what I mean. Pinion, this will be behind it. It's a spacer. Okay. That's it for this one. Stand by. Okay, I realize I did this backwards, but for those of you wanting to take it apart, just so you know, real easy. So assume this is still on the dozer. It's infinitely easier. Actually, I think you have to take the whole thing off. So you're going to undo all these bolts back here. But first, I'm sorry, take that back. First thing you're going to do is take all these out. Okay, so this hub will just come right back off. You get your gears. Then you're going to take out your 4 set screws, but I only put 1 back in there. Your retainer ring. Now, this whole hub, but with the bearing, will lift right out. That leaves you with your inner hub with the planetary still in it. We can just pull this off. And there's the, call it retaining washer on the back side. Just slips right in there, just like that. Then you can just push the whole thing out. You can push the whole gear set out. We still have our sleeve. And actually, so our upper ring came out with it. But the pins are still there, so don't forget about these. 2 pins. So that looks scary, I'm sure, again, but it's no big deal. Get it out, just take it and blow it apart, just like we had it before. Rip it apart. You cannot mess this up if you pay attention. Promise you, it's not hard. So there's our whole planetary. Now you can go back to the beginning and screenshot it when it was lined up and watch the other video. All right, I hope this helped you a little bit. Again, I'm not a professional. Take it easy on me. But I'm going to be doing a series of these on this build just because it's going to be super cool when it's done. And then I'll also do another video taking this apart, this brand new one, just so you can see how loose and how unlubricated everything is. All right, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it, guys. If you got any questions, let me know.